I'd like to call the meeting to order, July 19, 2023 at 7:30 p.m. Open Public Meetings Act. According to the Open Public Meetings Act, this meeting of July 19, 2023 was sent to the Hour Town in the record and published on July 5, 2023, and posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and on Rochelle Park's website and Facebook page, and has remained continuously posted as a required notice under the statute and is being recorded and videotaped. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Committeewoman O'Toole? Committeeman Pacietti?
Here.
Committeewoman Boniface? Committeeman Mosca?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Petrie? Here. Committee forum.
Thank you. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start with the presentation of promotion of Detective Brian Cobb to Sergeant and swearing in of Police Officer Whitney Bledsoe.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Would you and the Police Commissioner care to join me down here? And welcome, everyone. I'll go in order as the agenda has it. So, while we get ready, and the others going to help me, I'm just going to share a little bit of information about Sergeant Cobb. And obviously, Sergeant Cobb is replacing Lieutenant Stapleton, Lieutenant Bermudez, who moved up in rank and consultant Captain Burnett's retirement. But Sergeant Cobb is a 2000 graduate of Rutgers University, where he earned his BA in criminal justice. Soon after college, he attended the Monmouth County Police Academy and was promptly hired by the Montclair Police Department. After a short stint in Montclair, Brian transferred to us to the Rochelle Park Police Department, where he served in the patrol division for almost 7 years. In 2015, Officer Cobb was awarded a highly prestigious Combat Cross Medal by the New Jersey State PBA, resulting from a highly dangerous interaction on Eastern State Street. In 2021, he was reassigned to the Detective Division, where he investigated and solved a myriad of crimes within the township. Most recently, while on a plainclothes detail, he intercepted a narcotics transaction in progress within a residential neighborhood. As a sergeant, Brian will now return to the Patrol Division, where he will lead Squad A1. In his free time, Brian can be found with his wife and 3 young children here in attendance tonight. As an avid sports fan, Brian is also known to root for the dreaded Philadelphia Eagles. Notwithstanding that, I have worked with Brian as his patrol tour commander and as the chief who leans on the Detective Bureau daily, and know that his growth that he has in the knowledge of the job is second only to the growth of his leadership abilities, and he will be a tremendous frontline supervisor. So with that, we'll swear in.
I, Brian Cobb, solemnly swear
I, Brian Cobb, solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all duties of police sergeant
perform all duties of police sergeant
for the Township of Rochelle Park,
for the Township of Rochelle Park,
according to the laws of the Township, State of New Jersey,
according to the laws of the Township and the State of New Jersey,
under the Constitution of the United States of America,
under the Constitution of the United States of America,
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
There you go. Congratulations. 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 We're so proud of your dad.
do a quick picture. Everybody smile together.
That's good. Please take them on.
Next one is actually from Whitney Bledsoe. So his sister's in the crowd, Marky. Coming up to help, So a little bit about Rochelle, Whitney Bledsoe. So Officer Whitney Bledsoe is a Hackensack High School alumnus who participated in many sports throughout his years as a student. After high school, he attended Kane University, majoring in criminal justice with a minor in psychology. During the same time, he worked part-time at Garden State Plaza in Berkeley Mall. Officer Bledsoe's introduction to first responder duties began in Hasbrook Heights, where he spent over a year volunteering with the Hasbrook Heights Fire Department. No, Dave, he's not doing it. I see that. His time at the HHFD was spent learning the ins and outs of medical and fire emergencies. He was then promptly hired by the NJIT Police Department in Newark, New Jersey, where he spent a year working patrol plainclothes suppression within the college campus. Whitney's aspirations of becoming a police officer were a direct result of attending the Hackensack Junior Police Academy in 2014 under the supervision of current Captain Fredis and Lieutenant Lieutenant Joyce. Whitney credits these early police interactions with springboarding his law enforcement aspirations. Officer Bledsoe looks forward to bringing all of his skills and experience to the Rochelle Park Police Department while helping build an even stronger rapport between the department and our community. We welcome Whitney to our family and know he will have many years of productive dedication and service to our township.
The state of New Jersey, County, Bergen, Township, Commissioner Clark. I, Whitney Bledsoe Clark,
Whitney Bledsoe Clark,
solemnly swear that I will faithfully,
solemnly swear that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform all duties of police officer
impartially, and justly perform all duties of police officer
for the Township of Rochelle Park according to the laws of the Township,
for the Township of Rochelle Park according to the laws of the Township,
State of New Jersey, and the Constitution of the United States of America,
State of New Jersey, and the Constitution of the United States of America,
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Give me a minute.
We know first aid.
I just need you to sign him. Perfect. Congratulations.
Again, as chief, I want to thank this committee for having the trust and support in my team who performs, as we know, at a high level every day. Whitney came through a pretty stringent process in order for us to arrive at his hiring. So again, I know he's going to do stellar work and fit into the team and, make this community proud. So once again, thank you. Thank you, Chief.
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session now, so we can go over some confidential information for salary ordinances that impede on what we have to vote on in the open session. So can I make a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Committeewoman Otola? Yes. Committeeman Pacsetti?
Yes.
Committeeman Master?
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Tucci?
Yes.
For the public's benefit, there will be action taken after closed session today.
Yes.
See?
So,
So,
Motion to come back and open.
motion to come back into open session?
I'll make the motion. Second.
Committeewoman Otola? Yes. Committeeman Pacsetti?
Yes.
Committeeman Master?
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Tucci?
Yes. Approval of the agenda?
We can take off number 3 for discussion.
You also make note that the closed session is moved up. You want to make note of that on the agenda.
We're tabling number 3, right?
Any other changes? Oh, you know what, we're
Closed session.
working on, Renzo 023-159.
What was that?
023-159,
That's a walk-on?
that's a walk-on.
59. All right, and the closed session is moved up as well at the beginning of the
Closed
meeting.
session is moved up.
Is there a motion?
Make the motion with the changes.
Second.
Committeewoman Otola? Yes. Committeeman Pacsetti?
Yes.
Committeeman Master?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tucci?
Yes. Okay. So we'll start with, discussion, Roy Rigatano, 2023 salary ordinance.
Can we get some quiet? Can you clear some quiet from the public for the recording? Was it correct? Clear record, thank you. So, Mr. Rigatano, if you can just come up quickly. And the reason I brought Roy in is we had to make some changes to the salary ordinance. I know we did it back, I believe, in February. But in order to give out the raises to the civilian dispatchers and to the rest of the township employees, and everything falls into range, the only portion of the salary ordinance that doesn't have a range is the civilian dispatcher, so that actual number changes. But I asked Roy to be here as CFO to, reinforce the fact that the funds were budgeted for back when we did our budget.
Yes. So back in January, with the inflation between 3 and 5%, we, as a township committee, decided 3% would be put into the budget, as an aggregate for the employees for an increase. There'll be some that will get a little bit more, the civilian dispatchers, to be specific, will be a little increase. But the money is in the budget. That's all I really can say at this time until the ordinance is passed.
Boswell engineering report.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank you.
Good evening. Bruce Rockwell from Boswell Engineering. Here for the status report on projects. First project, Rochelle Avenue and Railroad Avenue intersection improvement project. We have an update from the county. The county did confirm that the only utility occupancy permits that's valid is PSC&G. All other utilities need to get their permits in order. The county did send a letter to the utilities. That was a fairly strong letter, requesting that they take action and move forward.
Matthew Field ADA Bleacher Improvement Project, still waiting on the door, and that is anticipated to be completed in August or September. Marinette Street and 2020 Road, curb and sidewalk programs. We're just waiting for a notification for final payment, and then we will close this project down. Bergen County Open Space Trust Fund 2020 funding round. Latest update, estimate 5 and change order 1 was issued on July 5th, 2023 in the amount of $51,156, and the project is 91% complete. Oldest street improvements. Latest update, estimate 2 is final, change order 1 is final. Maintenance bond was submitted to the Township June 23rd of 2023. Township executed the same on June 30th, 2023, and this will be submitted to NJDOT for change order approval. Next steps are the payment confirmation of the contractor and PMRS inputs for the final 25% reimbursement from the NJDOT. Burden Street sanitary sewer improvements. Latest update, estimate 2 is final, change order 1 is final. Maintenance bond was sent to the Township June 13th, 2023. Township forwarded a copy of the payment check on June 16th, 2023 to National Water Main. The project is complete and will not be included in future reports. Sanitary sewer pump station improvements. Latest update are that the draft plans are completed. Our wastewater department is in the process of scheduling a meeting with the DPW within the next 2 weeks to review those plans. Howard Avenue drainage and resurfacing. The drainage design has been completed. That was completed this week, and it's been moved over to our highway department for review. Project is expected to be submitted to DOT within the next 2 weeks, and we would expect DOT to return that in 2 to 4 weeks. The part of the holdup on this, the delay, was that DEP has new regulations coming out, and they just came out. There's actually a webinar on July 24th that the state is putting out for all the consultants, so that did cause a little bit of a delay on this project. This project must be awarded by October 2023, so we just need to work together to make sure that when the DOT gets that back, we turn that around and get it submitted. Eldorado Court, Crescent Street improvements. Estimate 5, final change order 2, final was re-signed and reissued 6/23/2023. Total payment to the contractor, $382,054.14. We will have to finalize the input to the NJDOT PMRS, and this will be completed in coordination with the Township for final 25% grant reimbursement from NJDOT. Fiscal year 2023 Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities BRIC application. We have not heard back regarding the grant award timelines. Township may receive notification directly, but to our knowledge, the application remains pending unless there's any update. Fiscal year 2023 CDBG grant application. Latest update is that Boswell's office submitted a proposal June 9th. Proposal was $14,000 for engineering, $16,000 for construction inspection, and we are waiting authorization and proposal to commence preparation of the bid documents. ADA ramps with county paving project. The ramp designs have been finalized and approved by the county. Engineering portion of Boswell's involvement has been completed. The county has not provided a schedule for paving to date. They will issue a pre-construction notice and will provide a construction inspection for that project. BC Open Space Grant. Latest update is the grant award remains pending, and that the Township may be notified directly. NJDOT fiscal year 2024. This grant application was submitted June 27th. And this, my understanding is this resolution was to be executed, submitted, uploaded through PMRS by July 31st, and that this has been completed by the township.
Correct.
Temporary job number, ROP 245, GIS digital mapping of storm sewer system. Township received a $25,000 grant, which they will utilize toward this work, and Boswell's office awaits authorization of our proposal that was submitted for that work. That's all I have to report on this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Administrative report?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I do have a lot to go through. Some property maintenance updates. Code enforcement officer, property maintenance officer Don Ronette continues to patrol the township several days a week. He remains available pretty much 24/7. I know there's not a time I can't text or call him. And I know he issued 33 violations in the month of June, and that's on top of the 190 notice of violations he issued in May. He continues again to work with business in town. I know there was a home on Somerville that's been rectified. He was a part of those conversations, helping getting the lawn mowed, which was bank owned and hadn't been cut in a long time. So he continues to do stellar work for us. Our construction official, James, has not only helped, keep construction moving here in town and getting the inspections done in a timely manner, but he's also helped our recreation department out, not only for creating forms in the SDL app where we can do online registrations for our day camp, but also now just took care of helping us for the football. Again, this is all done on top of his regular duties that are part of the building department report that will be done, read by his liaison. Call-out field update, we heard a little bit, I'm going to go with, it's about 99% complete. The railing has been installed, they are just punch lists. I know Dave Brown's sitting in the back, he advised me of that today. That really is just a matter of getting the punch list and getting those things done. DPW will begin painting the wall down there to kind of bring the color scheme together, and also eventually get to the foul poles. And if anybody hasn't had an opportunity to go down there, take a look. The work looks really good. Speaking of DPW, they've been doing their own sidewalk replacement when and where they can. And today, they started to remove 12 of the 16 trees around the township. They're doing that work themselves. It's out of savings to the township and to the taxpayer, of course, for having to pay an outside contract to do that. So once again, I'd like to remind, thank Dave and his team for that work. Once again, Dave was asked, and the DPW was asked, we need to remind residents, please avoid flushing anything down your toilets that's far into a sewer system. Even those flushable wipes are wreaking havoc down at the pump station. The DPW recently vacuumed out the system as part of their routine maintenance that Dave's started to do since he's taken over the DPW. And there's a huge pile of debris that had to be removed. So again, it's just going to end up causing more problems. So again, please residents, if you can, try to avoid flushing anything but TP down your toilets. Amy has begun work on the 2024 calendar. She's reached out and asked department heads for dates, events, pictures. We're also going to run the calendar through January of 2025 to allow for any printing delays that seem to be systematic. We're also looking at some different vendors, and Emery has taken the lead on that. Funny story, I actually wrote on the board calendar, and she called me and said, hey, look, let's look at great minds think alike. So again, good work there. Good work also in the finance department. Kathy Cerrucci continues to tackle several years of unpaid and open invoices, most of which came from our land use boards, dating back as far as 2018, 19, 20, and 21. It's brought to my attention a few months ago from different professionals, attorneys, engineering firms saying, hey, we haven't been paid in several years. Kathy was able to track down what was part or should have been part of escrow funds and pay a large bulk of the amounts due out of escrow accounts, and she chased down the money. Working with her, I was able and fortunate enough to get some forgiveness and negotiated with both engineering and law firms on some invoices where the applicant was deceased, thus we couldn't fill those escrow accounts. So we were able to get some savings to the township in that regard. In talking to Kathy too, I had her look up, as I know I've been asked numerous times, what the the taxes are across the street. 120 West Passaic Street for this year will pay us $126,000, 437 cents. I'm so sorry, $126,437.50. That's the combined total we pay in taxes, and 52 cents of every dollar will go to the school. So we know there's no more students going over there. Yet that money still goes to the, offset the cost to the Board of Ed. 37 cents per dollar goes to the township, 10 cents to the county, and about 1 cent to the library, and 1 cent on the dollar, that is. So just something to keep in mind. Second floor tenancy, just an update. The company that we have managing now continues to rent office space as well as make improvements. If anybody needs some space, they have office space that'll house one desk to conference rooms available. And they continue to pay us monthly payments based on tenancy, anywhere between $10,000 to $18,000 per month. So we have that going, and it's moving forward. The old Tyson House, current owner, Invictus, 5 Towns Pharmacy, came to see me, looking to discuss maybe a private-public partnership on usage of the property, maybe as a community center, an alternative means for a senior center, a library, etc., as the future may hold. And I told him I appreciated his reaching out, and that if we had any follow-up, that we would bring him in and have more discussions. Continue to work with Ron Mondella, our cannabis council, on a host community agreement. We've received an agreement proposal from the Ascend Cannabis. What that'll do is allow us to bring in a little more funding to help with community relationship involvement with our seniors and our recreation. So we continue to review that, and we'll send back our proposal to them. Today, we've received numerous complaints about the large amount of spotted lanternflies in and around the county park area, Terrace Avenue, Howard Avenue, and anywhere near those wooded areas. Worked with the clerk again today, over the past week actually, but today we were able to get a hold of somebody at the County Parks Department, the Mosquito Commission, as well as the Public Works in the county. I posted it on Facebook. They are going to put up traps on the susceptible trees in the county park area. As far as any spraying, they couldn't commit to that. We have received spotted lanternfly grant money, and I've spoken to our DPW commissioner. We can use that for traps. He has the backpack blower. If we come across an issue on township property or parks areas that we need to spray, we can do that. We can also use that money to bring in an outside company, and the state would reimburse us on a monthly basis, so we'll continue to do that. While speaking with the county, the Mosquito Commission specifically asked, with the amount of rain we've been seeing lately, that residents please check their property for any standing water and remove that water, as the West Nile virus is expected to make a huge comeback, and the less standing water, the less mosquitoes, the better for all. For those of you that traveled along Plaza Way from January through, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, it was like traversing the moon. There was huge potholes. Again, through the efforts of Dave Brown, myself, and working with Westfield or Westlake Garden State Plaza, the Paramus DPW superintendent, we've had numerous meetings since January, since I've taken over this position, and I'm happy to report it's been paved from curb to curb, from Rochelle Avenue or Fairview Avenue to Fairfield Drive, and that was the worst part. They've also continued to listen to Dave, our code enforcement officer, and myself, as far as dealing with the lack of maintenance on the grass. Most specifically, the flooding issues we've had on Pleasant Avenue, on the east side of Rochelle Avenue. They've done a ton of cleanup and a ton of work in repairing the swale and installing an actual whole new drainage system. So we thank them for their continued partnership, and as well as with the Borough Paramus DPW, working with Dave and myself and our code enforcement officer on having them mitigate some of those issues. I've had numerous meetings with the architect, Kevin Senegrino, in reference to the new Township Hall and Police Department. Those meetings, probably 5 to 6, were started with, hey, what's our concept, what's our idea, to specific plans being completed, and they'll be available soon, as well as 3D renderings and models, and we'll have Mr. Senegrino come and present that to this committee and to the public. Again, I brought Lieutenant Stapleton, as I know Bob Davidson knows his technical skills, and I think Kenny was a part of helping redo this building back in the day. And we've gone from nothing to where we have a good concept, which again will be brought back to this committee and to the public. But look, and again, that's at no cost to our taxpayer. That's been done through escrow funds. 161 West Passaic Street, I'm happy to report there's no more utility company there. There's Mrs. Verhassel. Hey, Diane, I'm sure you noticed, I do continue to work with the owner of that property, ask them to clean up their mess now as best as possible, and they've been receptive to that. Another, again, collaborative effort between clerk and I, we've begun to work on a private-public partnership to provide fleet shots to our residents at no cost to the taxpayer. More soon on this, or more on this soon as we continue to coordinate the actual date and time. And I will tell you who our private partner is at that time as well. But we did this to avoid having to pay Bergen County Health Department fees. When we know people can get free shots at ShopRite, why not bring those, or at any pharmacy for that matter, whether it be CVS or the 5 towns and Invictus, why not bring that here to the town building? So we continue to work on that partnership, and I'm happy to report that we have a willing partner. And once we have the date and time, the forms will be released, and we'll get that done. You may have noticed, for those of you that traverse our website, our webmaster's worked on several accessibility updates. We continue to work with her on making it more user-friendly. Matthews Field, we recently upgraded to LED lighting, and the cost of that was cut pretty much in half by some grants that public service did. We never even had to apply for, it just came off the top, so we saved a lot of money. We're also going to save a lot of money on our electric bill usage, because as we all know, LED lights burn a lot less than the incandescents that used to be up there. Only downside or negative to that was we found some issues that existed with the existing lights, as well as even when they put the LED bulbs in, but that's being remedied, and it's pretty much a breaker issue, and the cost of that is negligible, and we should be able to cover that out of our buildings and grounds, and you know, it's an easy fix, and again, we'll have brighter and cleaner and less utility bills with those new lights. Recycling, through a collaborative effort of our recycling coordinator, Lisa Shealy, and our DPW superintendent, Dave Brown, I'm happy to say that we've worked together and that our residents will no longer have to travel out of town to drop off their electronics to be recycled. We were able to, and the resolution is on for tonight, contract with a company called Green Chip. Green Chip has done work in Maywood, as I believe the city of Hackensack as well. It will be no cost to the township. They're going to provide us with a 20-yard container, the materials to wrap and package these, and they will come pick it up, and they will actually pay us for the weight based on a scale of, what the value is based on a scale of weight of these items. So I look forward to that. So again, we don't have to worry about when the county has their recycling pickups. We'll be able to do that right here on Lots Lane. And I apologize for the long report, but I know I missed last month's meeting, so I had a lot to catch up on. That's all I have, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you.
Since last meeting, the DPW has completed the following. Street sweeper was out 16 hours. The assistant police were changing the batteries in the speed signs. On Monday, we pick up metal, curbside recycling. Please call the DPW to schedule a pickup. The ADA ramp, as a Township Administrator touched on, the wall project carpool is completed except for the punch list. We'll be meeting with the inspector for Boswell tomorrow to go over the punch list. They cleaned the drains of the town hall roof 3 times with all these heavy rainfalls. 3 calls for reported sewer backups. Also, to mention the tireless work we do. The wet well at the post station has been vacuumed out approximately 8 tons of debris that came out of it. Rags, grease, silt, and anything else. People flushed down the system. We started trimming the town trees along the current side, and have also begun removing any of the trees that have died or become a hazard to the residents. We'll be replacing the trees this fall under the guidance of our arborist. They also have cleaned off the slow drains after the recent rains. For the police report, at the end of June, answered 1,260 calls for service, 16 arrests, 43 criminal charges, 489 summonses were issued. As we witnessed tonight, we had to welcome police officer Whitney Bledsoe, age 170, and the promotion of Brian Cobb Sergeant. We look forward to many years of dedicated service from them. And we look forward to continuing our outreach and remind everyone that our successful and well-received National Night Out event will be held on August 1st, 2023 at Business School from 6 to 9. And that's it.
Thank you. Roscoe?
Okay, construction report for June 2023. Permits issued were 35, UCC inspections were 91. Total value of construction was $485,447. Permit fees collected, $15,878. No fees were waived. Zoning permits, $1,570. Zoning violations, 1. Continuing certificate of occupancies, $875. Standalone inspections were 81. And as Chief said, the property maintenance violations issued were 33 this month after a huge month, last month, so we're getting good work out of our property maintenance officer. Complaints, 10, CCO inspections were 12, total fees collected for the month of June were $18,323, and total revenue for the year is $414,820. So that's good for our coffers here at the township. For the court, there were 302 traffic violations, criminal violations were 16. Total fees for the month of June were $9,103. Total fees for the year, we are $8,286 ahead of last year, so that's good news for the township. And that's it for us.
The library has the following programs. The children and their grown-ups can join us at the library every Thursday at 4 o'clock for fun story time, followed by a craft at 4:30. Regular programs are Teen Advisory Council, Book Club, Adult Crafts, and Tech Tutor. Safe Stretch Yoga is available on Zoom every Wednesday at 12 noon. This will be recorded and available on the library's social media for a week after the program. An origami class is held every second Friday of the month at 3:30. There's many more things going on at the library this summer. Please visit their website for more information on all these events. At the last meeting, I mentioned that the Rochelle Park CERT team has been asked to assist Paramus with their Independence Day fireworks. The fireworks were rained out, so the new date is scheduled for Sunday, August 27th. I look forward to volunteering at this event. Congratulations to Ryan Pardo on becoming Rochelle Park's newest Eagle Scout. I attended his ceremony on Sunday, and it was absolutely beautiful. For his project, he and his volunteers built a new fence for a horse farm. The farm provided a video of him and his team doing the work. Congratulations, Ryan. We look forward to the upcoming Eagle Scout project following the work by the other boys in Troop 114. On Monday, I had the opportunity to tour the Bergen County Crisis Intervention Team at their soon-to-be new home in Rochelle Park. They provide a safe and effective response to people with mental illnesses who are in crisis. They will also be home to Care Plus, which is a provider of comprehensive, recovery-focused mental health and substance abuse services for children, adults, and families. I toured with Police Chief Pinto, Captain DeCreta, Lieutenant Stapleton, and our Township Acting Clerk Wells. We look forward to a fruitful partnership between them and our police when dealing with mental health and crisis situations. Yes.
Thank you.
Jack, can I just say one more thing?
Absolutely.
I just want to make an announcement. One other thing, the 10U Royals baseball team is having their semifinals game tomorrow night at Matthews Field. So they're at 6 o'clock. Yeah, so if anyone wants to support them, they brought back the travel Royals team, so, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the Recreation hosted their first annual summer concert, which was Epic Soul, on June 29th at Midland School. For those who did attend, it was a great show. On August 7th, we'll be hosting the annual Rochelle Park Summer Concert, sponsored by Park Ave, BMW and Acura, which will be held at Midland School at 7:30. Rochelle Park Razorbacks sign-up started yesterday, and the deadline is August 21st. We also started for the first time an all-girls football team, which is something that's kind of new for most towns, and we're very glad to start that here in Rochelle Park. We'll also be hosting our second end-of-the-year summer concert for Recreation, Friday, September 22nd at 7:30. The location is yet to be determined. It will be an Elvis and Elton John singers band. And we're also looking to start a few adult sports leagues. There will be a questionnaire put out on Facebook to see the level of interest of what sports people are looking to do for this adult league. Okay, that's all I have. Attorney reports?
Nothing.
Nothing? Clerk's reports?
No, I was just going to report on the concert, which you touched on, and the flu shots will have more information next month.
Yep,
I'll make a motion to open to the public.
Make that motion.
Second.
Okay, other portion is open.
Public's benefit, every individual has 3 minutes to speak. Please come up and face your comments. Again, public portion is not a question and answer session. It's the ability for the public to make comments to the township committee. And again, members of the township committee, you do not have to respond to questions. Please allow the public their full 3 minutes to speak and make all their comments.
Can I just take a roll call real fast?
Yeah, you take a roll call.
Committeewoman October? Yes. Committeeman Vassetti?
Yes.
Committeeman Maska?
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Afici?
Yes. Okay.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Joe Scarpa, East Forest Place. Just regarding the time limit rule on citizens, where is that written, or where was it voted on? It's not on the agenda, it's not in the bylaws that I see. You making it up as you go along? Should be in the bylaws.
There's a vote taken at the prior meeting. And I believe there's a vote taken at the prior meeting, because there was a different previous time. Right, so I do believe, Mr. Scarpa, there was a vote taken at the prior meeting.
It should be in your bylaws. It's not. Also, on your bylaws is an order of business, your agenda. Nowhere is there a closed session on there. I know you have to do closed sessions, but you should have a closed session. It shouldn't be wherever you want it, at your decision at each meeting, because you left us all here for how many minutes, which is very disrespectful. You should be either done it earlier or done at the end of the meeting. And that should be on your agenda, on your bylaws as well.
Also, regarding the salary ordinance,
I think the salary ranges are very deceptive. I don't know why you're doing ranges. You never did it before. And your ranges are so inconsistent. One is a $60,000 range, one's a $5,000 range, one's a $15,000 range, all kinds of ranges. Why? And what is your salary as township committee people? It's $0 to $5,000. Is it 0 or is it 5,000? Does anybody know what they're getting paid? Also, I asked the last meeting about what was in that report for the bank diner study. Has anybody decided to look at it, look at that report? Of the elected officials? So even though I asked about it, no one decided to go look at it. It's really disgraceful. Really disgraceful. On the property maintenance, has anyone written up that dumpster that's got the 311 on Rochelle Avenue? Was that one of the items? That was the old Gallo drugstore / Indian food store? There's been graffiti on that, on the main street. Doesn't anybody notice it? Anybody seen it? We have an anti-graffiti ordinance that's on the books. Once again, no answers from anybody.
Diane Verhassel, Forest Place. Thank you for taking care of the parking lot, Chief. Though I have to tell you, it wasn't just the mess, it was the fact that if they're getting taxed as a parking lot versus a business, I felt we were losing money on that. Did the zoning and planning secretaries, we brought it up at last meeting, get directed to send reports to property maintenance about what gets planned at the meeting, so he knows what to follow up on? I know at the last meeting, everybody said it's a great idea. Were they sent any kind of directive to do that? Is my first question. My second one, it's come to my attention that, and I mean, I know Dave's here, it's not a reflection on him at all, or the DPW, but they are maintaining certain private properties, taking care of them. They receive a check from Stephen Chemical, or we do, and it's for mowing or whatever is getting done to their property. So I'd like to know who decides if they do this, who sets the price, Why isn't a private landscaper being sent to those properties as opposed to having our town doing it? And to me, it's setting a precedent, because if this one company's getting it done, other companies can ask the same thing. And the price they're paying, it's like $250-something a quarter. I have neighbors that get a landscaping and their property is much smaller than when they do, and they pay close to that a month. So I'd like to know who sets the prices, who decides, gets it done, who doesn't get done. Any idea on that? Hello? Anybody up there know anything about this? No, okay.
I can answer. I will tell you this, back to your, there's continuous conversations that occur between the Paco, Lisa, myself, the clerk, with Don Warnett. Again, he's available 24/7. I literally text him about the graffiti on the dumpster. I know for a fact he's
That
checked
didn't come
out.
from me, but okay.
Yeah, I'll go back to it.
Okay.
And then you asked about the conversations. I wasn't at last meeting. I will make sure that, but we use the SDL app. Everything goes in. It's like using a CAD system. So everything,
No, it's not those kind of things. The thing that had been brought up, I know you weren't there, Dean, is that, in many planning and zoning meetings, when businesses or homes come in and ask for variance for whatever they're gonna do, many times it's approved with certain stipulations or requirements. The property maintenance person, he or previous one,
I will give you one example. I know the supermarket on Rochelle Avenue, there was actually an email circulated, in fact, talking about, hey, that dumpster should have a locking device, it should be closed. So that's been circulated, it went to the construction code official, zoning official, to all those people. So, yes, once that planning board, and I actually forwarded that to the planning board chair, in hopes that he would
the
understand
suggestion
that
I
these are
came up with,
separate.
which I know at the time, they thought was a great idea, the secretary, since they're doing the minutes, and they're gonna write down, company A was approved with whatever, at the same time could send that email on to you or to him.
Sure.
And say, this company got it, but they have to do these things, because he wouldn't know what to follow up on unless he's told that they.
Absolutely correct. So I will follow up not only with the secretaries, but also with legal counsel that are being paid to be the professional to make sure, hey, we need to make sure that if in fact that's what was said and codified, let's get that done. As far as the step-in property, I will tell you, I know that DPW's been maintaining that for the 33 years I've been employed as a police officer. Who and what or when that was negotiated in the rates, I don't know, but I will absolutely follow up with Dave, because if it's due for an increase, I will absolutely make that phone call to step in. I don't know if it's, again, part of any land agreements. I would have to look into that.
Well, I guess my question is, and I realize if it's I didn't realize it was that old, but.
Mr. House, I just want to remind you, I'm going to let you go, Tom, because I know that Dean had been responding, but you have to finish up your comments soon.
Well, I was just waiting for an answer. Who
Understood.
decided Stephen gets this private land? It's like having a private landscaper. And if they're getting it for this ridiculously low price, every resident in town could say, hey, I want mine done for that. Or another company can say, we want our property done for that. To me, you're setting a precedent. And why are we doing it?
Yeah, I will look into that.
You know,
I'll see if
like-
I will see if I can obtain that information for you.
You know, I don't just want to see them get an increase in charging. I want them to be told, hire a landscaper like every other company does. You know, all other businesses have people come to their property.
Fair enough.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Teresa Judge Crivello, Howard Avenue. I have a question, I don't know, somebody said up here that you're gonna have a walk-on on the agenda? Did you announce that? Or what the walk-on will be? Anybody? Mayor? A deputy mayor? The walk-on,
Here's your copy.
did you announce what the walk-on will be for the agenda? What is it for? You gave a number, but are you changing?
Authorizing the final payment for the estimate number 2 for final and change order for improvements to Oldest Street.
Okay, great. Also, I believe at the last meeting, Mrs. Peachy, that you had mentioned that this meeting there would be, or somebody would say, who's the next mayor in town? Has that decision been made?
There's no decision made since.
When will that decision be made?
The next meeting when the committee woman Boniface will be here.
Okay, so you're going to wait for a total
Yes.
panel here?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Davidson, Lexington Avenue. Last meeting I had asked, and I believe that the administrator answered the question, but that the bill for 35,700, I believe it was. So, nobody seemed to know what that was about. So, is what you just described, is that what that was input?
That is,
And that was being paid by the developer, is that correct?
it comes out of an escrow account, yes.
Well, I'm just having a little bit of, and I could be completely wrong here, but I don't understand how the developer is paying already prior to having any form of agreements or anything else. Because the architect should be working for the township, the way I see it. And the whole issue here, quite honestly, is just like, who is he really working for?
So I've only been on meetings with him and Lieutenant Stapleton. There's been nobody else attending those meetings, so he's definitely doing the work that we're asking him to do. He was appointed by this committee back in January after an RFQ, and, the escrow account was set up as part of the resolution that set it up for the study of these properties. And how do we know, and how would we be able to tell anybody that we're going to develop a town hall, what the cost would be without having architectural plans?
No question about it. But the whole point of the matter is, it almost seems to me like the cart's ahead of the horse here. Because it seems to me that's until there's some form of an agreement. Again, I'm not an attorney, I don't know all this planning stuff, but it just seems to me
I'm
that...
sure Mr. Doyle explained it back when we did that a few months back, how that was working.
In the last meeting, I just want to clarify, there's no developers agreement in place.
Correct.
These are preliminary studies, and in an effort to not have the taxpayers and municipality pay for it, there was a decision made that an escrow would be collected with no obligation to the developer that gave us the escrow, that developer needs to be the developer that the township uses, i.e. there is no redevelopment agreement in place right now. There's nothing wrong with the escrow that was done. And again, this was explained to us and advised to us by development council. Doug Doyle, is that correct? And I believe Rebecca was here at the last meeting and she confirmed those things.
So exactly, again, I'm sorry, what was that? Yeah, but where the building is going on Rochelle Avenue, I'm assuming, correct? Is that what you're looking to do?
That's what that study is now, right?
Well, the study has to be about some property.
Correct.
Where is that property?
The study is being done with that property.
At the property?
Correct.
And my
That's what the study is being
understanding is from the planning board meeting, is that the developer already is ready to sign a contract to purchase that property for the township.
I believe that's true.
That's the three.
And that was discussed at the planning board.
Again, nothing obligates the township to do anything at this point. We even don't even redevelopment agreement with the developer. My understanding, and I'm not development counsel.
That's correct. That's
I
how it's
believe that's
explained.
correct.
That was
So it's been
explained.
explained.
So
So this is related to, this would be my understanding, so that the taxpayers, they don't have to foot the bill, or the township to do these studies to determine whether or not this is even something that can be done, should be done, or whether the township even wants to do it. With no obligation to the developer that gave us the escrow.
And Mr. DePizza, we will have development council back here at a public meeting to
To
explain.
explain everything, because that was the individual, it's more screened, is the main.
Leading to some
Correct.
confusion.
Yeah, because I mean, quite honestly, I think one of the things I had said at the last meeting also is I think you need to educate the residents here. If you're doing these type of projects,
But very similar to the Garden State Plaza in Paramus, that these things happen and developers will go before, and Paramus has kicked that down the road, right? So we will have that project explained to our public when it's first explained to Paramus. So we're putting it in time, and we have the map will be, part of that will be where the development council comes back here with the architect to explain where we're at and what we've been doing.
I just find it to be a little bit odd on my side. And again, I'm not an attorney, I don't do this stuff, but something just seems to be off on it. I'm sorry. And maybe if this was discussed in a public meeting prior to,
I've discussed it numerous times.
Well,
I know I brought it up.
as far as the, how the process was going to.
Correct.
Yes, well, Mr. Doyle has been here explaining extensively on a number of
Yeah, you may.
This may have been prior to me coming to the
Correct.
meetings.
My guess is correct. I'll try to find the meeting and then we can, I'm
So
sure it's up
I
on
can
YouTube.
review it on the,
Correct, it's probably up on YouTube.
okay, thank you.
Lynn Houghton, West Older Street. I only wish that the council could put as much effort in trying to get this new municipal building as they would be to repairing a well-needed pumping station. If we have a flood, not only will we have most likely more than a third of our town inundated with water, could you imagine if all these wipes and extra storage from these great, big, wonderful buildings we have knock out the pumping station? Then we call the fire department for rescue, and we call the DPW for our sewer lines backing up, and that can happen in any street when the sewer goes down. Your priorities are definitely not the concern of the health and well-being for citizens of this town. It's been 2 years, and all we hear from you people are saying, we're waiting for a grant. Grants aren't guaranteed. Grants aren't issued in full of what you're asking for. You haven't even put a penny aside in case you have to match some of that or add at least half of it too. But yet you laid out money to pay AT&T for the easement so they could probably get a CO when it's ready in a couple of months. What are you doing for the taxpayers that are paying you $5,000 each a year to represent us? I don't know who you're representing. I think you're representing the developers and anybody else who's willing to, I don't know what, tell you what you want to hear. It's definitely getting to be a problem. You can't answer questions. The only ones answering questions are Dean and the lawyer. The lawyer is supposed to represent you legally, not answer the questions. Dean, you're supposed to know the questions, but you're also supposed to pass that information on that you get to them so they don't look like fools there, not knowing anything. Okay? And if they don't know it, how do you expect us to know about it? We hear things after the fact. And that's when it's too late to really complain, because everything's signed, sealed, and delivered. So get with this pumping station. It's a necessity. Health-wise, DEP-wise, every way. It's been 2 years. How long do you wait for this grant? If you even get it?
Deputy Mayor? Mayor? We had the engineer just give the report on the pumping station, and it's 2 weeks till the plans are done. So we're going ahead with the plans.
You're going ahead with the plans, but you're not implementing the plans until you get a grant, you're saying.
That's part of the process, so that's not like we're not doing anything before the grant comes. If we don't get the grant, we're gonna have to make that decision.
If I can, but
It won't be
the
a
plan still needs to be done.
make.
If I may, Ms. Deputy Mayor. Mrs. Houghton, back when we were introducing the capital improvement budget, it was brought up about the sewer station.
Can I ask the public to please quiet down so we can hear? Thank you.
And I believe Mr. Davidson questioned it as well as Committeewoman Boniface, and we talked about why we didn't want to do that out of a capital improvement budget when the I-Bank remains available. And that's a funding program through the state of New Jersey that would actually save money for the township to borrow from that. Up to 50% can be covered by the state through grants through that. So we have 2 weeks, right? The wastewater department will schedule a meeting with the township DPW within 2 weeks as per our engineer. And at that point, we'll see what the cost is going to be, and we can start filing for our I-Bank funding. while we wait for the brick grant, right? Either way, we have to pay for it, because we all know FEMA's slow to move, and to get money out of FEMA would take forever. So that has been looked at. That information's been shared at this meeting. I know for sure I spoke about the IBET, whether it was a closed session before the capital, and then at the capital, when we introduced the capital improvement bond, the bond budget.
But you're still waiting. The essence is, you have all these ways to do it. Once you're notified, you don't get the grant, or you only get a portion of the grant.
Correct, but we're still 2 weeks away from where the engineer is ready to
Right, and
tell us how to
you'll be ready to
proceed.
go. That's understandable. But what if you had been saving some money, and then we don't get hit with another tremendous tax increase? Because we have to bond again? All we're doing is bonding for everything. If that was put into the budget, then you could not say that the school board cost all this on the budget, our taxes. They can't bond. We seem to bond every year. Second of all, this is for the lawyer.
I'm gonna,
I know
just for the record, is that, your time is up, but I know you're going back and forth with Dean, so please just finish your comment. Go ahead, feel free.
The closed session, I brought this up, and you were very good for the months of March and April, I believe, where you had closed session and you listed the companies' names and stuff that were on closed session. You reverted back in May to just closed session, litigation and everything. I think you should go back and follow the sunshine law.
So we are following the sunshine law, which only requires a general, very, very general summary. I will tell you this, when it permits to give additional information can be given, but when it does not permit it, we cannot do it. But I appreciate the comment.
And this one's for you also, Mr. Administrator, Dean. On the bills list, and I meant to ask you this, and I keep forgetting, what is the program ProAct?
That's the township's prescription program.
It's the what?
The township's prescription plan for their employees.
And what does that do?
The prescription plan. So if I need to get penicillin, as an employee, I have a prescription plan. I take my ProAct card and I go to the pharmacy, and that covers.
Oh, because those bills are quite high every month, that's why.
And we've actually gotten several rebates.
No.
And I could get you those numbers from, and the rebates we get, and that was negotiated by previous administrators and committees based on the need under contracts for the police department employees, et cetera, to equal or better to. But it's one of the more cheaper companies out there. I've looked into, as I reported back in January, February, Rochelle Park, we can't even change our medical program because none of the 5 carriers would take us on based on our past usage.
One more.
Sure.
The pilot program across the street. The taxes that whole parcel pays is $254,000, I believe.
Once the pilot kicks in, but I just reported tonight, they'll pay $126,000 this year without the pilot.
Okay. Now, the storage area is filled. So they are supposed to submit an audit with the earnings, and we're supposed to get a portion.
Correct. Correct.
Has the audit been done?
It was done for last year, it'll be done this year. The CFO sits with them, I was in the
And
room.
about how much money have we collected from that?
I would have to, it's too bad the CFO left. I would have to ask him and take a look at it. I don't want to give you a wrong number off the top of my head, but I know that process was done because I sat in it with Mr. Terhune and Mr. Rigatano, and then we would do it again this year.
Could you check that and get those figures
Sure.
for me for the 2 years?
So I do have, I don't want to give you this number because it's a number, but I don't know if this is based on the, what's been paid. But I'll find out for you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Christine Pasquarello, 32 Dean Avenue. You were mentioning about the lantern flies,
I'm sorry, yes.
about the lantern flies. Do you know if the county is going to be doing anything?
I report they'll be hanging traps on heavenly trees, I believe they're called.
Yeah, but what about-
They're one of the most susceptible.
What about for us in town? I have them all over my property.
Yeah, you should contact the county executive's office and complain.
All right, because, I mean, I even had an exterminator come and spray.
Yeah,
Those
it's,
little shitheads.
the county submitted that we should expect an increase just due to the,
If I call, they'll come?
oh, they won't come, but you
No?
can call and complain.
I can
Yeah,
call and
it's your
complain?
private property, you're responsible for your private.
I know, I mean, I already have it sprayed, but I don't know what good's that gonna do. I mean, and if anybody is interested, I know, there's an arborist I have, they'll actually come and spray into the roots of your trees, so that it's in the roots, and they'll, actually, if they eat on your trees, they'll die. So, thank you.
Make a motion to close.
Chris Muller, Forest Place. Last month, there was a big discussion on some of the wording about, on the 120 Passaic easement, specifically Section 4, cost of the acquisition. It seems that you didn't do anything with it. Was there a change of heart after you left? It's still the same wording. About a good big amount of time.
If I remember correctly, there was a motion made that there was going to be a non-substantive change that the money was coming from the escrow, just to clarify where the money was coming from, if I'm correct. I believe that was made on the record, is that not in there?
Not that I can see.
Because that change was supposed to be made, again, non-substantive, just to further clarify where the funds were coming from. I believe that's what you read.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, thank you.
If I remember correctly, because that should be in there. I believe the development council is going to do that. That change has to be made, yeah, that's a non-substantive change that can be made without affecting the reading, but there was, I believe there was a vote, or at least they placed in the record last meeting, that was a change that everyone agreed to, so we need to make sure that that is in the final draft, again specifying that the money and the funds are coming from the escrow. Okay?
You make a motion to close public session?
You made the motion. All right, I'll make the motion.
I'll second, hold on.
I'm sorry, just to follow up also on this issue that the wording wasn't changed. On the question that Mr. Davidson had regarding the architect, was there, I know the administrator, you said that there was work being done by the architect. Has he submitted any work? I mean, you're not supposed to pay in advance. So what goods and services have been received by this committee from the architect that warrants a $37,500 payment?
There's been several renderings.
But you just said that the committee didn't see any of this.
That's correct.
So how is the committee paying for this if they didn't see it? You said you're going to keep them abreast at some point or other, you're going to bring them up to speed. They should know about this now if they're paying for that bill. And the taxpayer should know. Because again, you're signing off on a voucher on the purchase order that the goods and services have been received. And if you haven't received it as a township committee, you shouldn't be paying for it. It's nice that Dean got it, but you should have it, and the taxpayer should be aware of it. And also, who gave out my number to the architect? Who gave out my personal cell phone? Why am I getting calls from the architect to answer questions?
You?
Yes. I got a private message and a cell phone call from him. Wanted to know if I had any questions for him. I don't have any questions for him, I have questions for you guys, not for the architect. So who gave him my number? Who gave him my personal cell number? And why am I getting calls from the township architect?
If you'd like to make a police report as to that, Joe, we
No, somebody up here gave him my number.
I know it wasn't me.
So I want to know who gave him my personal cell for him to answer questions. I didn't have any question of him. I can easily go find his office and ask him, I don't want to ask him, I'm asking you guys questions, and ladies. And you don't have any answers ever, but, okay. But again, I don't think that's right, that you're giving up people's personal cell phones to township professionals. I mean, I don't need to speak to these people yet, soon, maybe, but again, I really don't want to leave this mic until I get an answer. Someone gave that gentleman my number. Who did it? Why am I getting text messages and cell phone calls from the township architect? I understand the township.
Maybe it helps you. I think I have this.
Can you make a motion to close public session?
Parent, you should give your money back to the month of June. You shouldn't collect the salary, you can shut the meeting.
Okay.
Senior comment.
So no comments, let's close the public session. Make motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Committeewoman Otola? Yes. Committeeman Bisetti?
Yes.
Committeeman Master?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tucci?
Yes. Introducing ordinance number 2023-013, an ordinance to provide for and determine the maximum annual salaries of various municipal employees of the Township of Rochelle Park. Deputy Mayor Peachy asks for motion to introduce by title on the first reading, ordinance number 2023-013, an ordinance to provide for and determine the maximum annual salaries of various employees of the Township of Rochelle Park by way of resolution number 023-150, and it be published in full in the Bergen Record with notice of public hearing to be held on August 30th, 2023. Have a motion?
Make the motion.
I'll second. Committeewoman Otola? Yes. Committeeman Bisetti?
Yes.
Committeeman Master?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tucci?
Yes. Ordinances for a public hearing, adoption of ordinance number 2023-011, an ordinance of the Municipal Council of the Township of Rochelle Park, County of Bergen, New Jersey, extinguishing, terminating, and relinquishing the use and enjoyment of the township parking easement at property located at 120 West Passaic Street. Deputy Mayor Peachy asks for a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance number 2023-011, an ordinance of the Municipal Council of the Township of Rochelle Park, County of Bergen, New Jersey, extinguishing, terminating, and relinquishing the use and enjoyment of the township parking easement at property located at 120 West Passaic Street. Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Committeewoman Otola? Yes. Committeeman Bisetti?
Yes.
Committeeman Master?
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Tucci?
Yes.
With another one.
Okay, I'd like to make a, Deputy Mayor Peachy asks for a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance and that it be adopted with notice of final passage to be published in the Bergen Record. I'd like to have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Committeewoman Otola? Yes. Committeeman Bisetti?
Yes.
Committeeman Master?
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Tucci?
Yes. Adoption ordinance number 2023-012, an ordinance to amend chapter 31 of the Code of the Township, specifically section 31-3, entitled Supervision of Road Construction and Repair. Deputy Mayor Peachy asks for a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance number 2023-012, an ordinance of the Municipal Council of the Township of Rochelle Park, County of Bergen, New Jersey, to amend Chapter 31 of the Code of the Township, specifically Section 31-3, entitled Supervision of Road Construction and Repair. I'd like to ask for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Committeewoman Otola? Yes. Committeeman Bisetti?
Yes.
Committeeman Master?
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Tucci?
Yes. Deputy Mayor Peachy asks for a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance and that it be adopted with notice of final passage to be published in the Bergen Record. I'd like to have a motion made.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Committeewoman Otola?
Yes.
Committeeman Pacsetti?
Yes.
Committeeman Maska?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tucci?
And then we're welcome resolution number 023-159, authorizing final payment estimate number 2, final and change order number 1, improvements to Oldest Street. Whereas the Township Committee of Township of Rochelle Park adopted a resolution awarding a bid for the Oldest Street improvements to Frank A. Mascione Construction Incorporated, and whereas the township engineer, by way of letter dated June 23rd, 2023, has certified that work is completed as stated and recommends and confirms the total amount due to be paid to Frank A. Mascione Construction Incorporated is $11,447.88, remains accurate and valid, and now therefore be resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Rochelle Park that the Township Treasurer make a payment to Frank A. Mascione Construction Incorporated.
Let me put that with the consent agenda. So now you just need a motion.
Do you have a motion?
So motion for the full consent agenda, or, yeah? So you're talking about 2023?
Hold on, was there a motion made to add the walk-on to the consent agenda? There was, okay, and that passed?
Yes.
Yes.
Got it, continue.
So now you're asking for a motion for all of them, for resolution 023-151 through
159.
159. So I'll make a motion for all of those.
I'll second that.
Committeewoman Otola?
Yes.
Committeeman Pacsetti?
Yes.
Committeeman Maska?
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Tucci?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Committeewoman Otola?
Yes.
Committeeman Pacsetti?
Yes.
Committeeman Maska?
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Tucci?
Yes.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
So these are all done.
Yeah.